Hello guys, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Yan. As you can see, different filming actually on my brand new MacBook Pro, la la. Yeah, I want to test out if I can actually use the camera on this and indeed the microphone in times of need when I'm not in the office. So I'm in my living room, so welcome back to the channel. Today's video is me talking about the Chelsea squad and who I think will survive the exodus in what could be an evolution with a new manager. Maybe not. One thing is for sure though, Chelsea have a incredibly bloated squad, and players need to go. We already know that players like Malo Gusto, the French under-21 right back who plays in Ligue 1 is coming. Of course, we know that superstar French attacker and RB Leipzig forward, my cat me is over there, and Christopher Nkunku is coming as well. And Chelsea will probably sign a player or two, as is the inclination of Big Todd Bowley and Igbali of Clear Lake. So it's going to be popping off at Chelsea Football Club, and there's going to be a lot of movement. But certainly, there needs to be a lot of outgoings. There's players on loan as well. We're not going to do the loanees at the moment. We're just going to do the registered squad. Talk about the futures of the players. So thanks for joining me. No graphics on that. Well, maybe we get some graphics. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a subscribe button floating around somewhere on the screen. But if not, meh. It is what it is. Alright then, so we'll start off with goalkeepers. And this is rough, man. This is real tough because there's a case for 3 of the 4 goalkeepers leaving Chelsea. The one that you'd say has a future, but will probably, you know, have like a decent championship loan maybe, is Gaga Slanina. Of course, the USA international we bought from Chicago Fire, and he's been training with the Chelsea first team. So, you know, definitely one for the future. He's played a game for the US men's national team already. Despite being a teenager, he looks good. Of course, I don't think he'll be Chelsea's even second team goalkeeper next season, so I think he'll be alone. But then you got Bettinelli, Kepa, and Edouard Mendy. I genuinely think Edouard Mendy's going to go. He's declined new contract offers. He probably doesn't feel valued as like FIFA best goalkeeper. You know, of course he won AFCON. Of course he won the Champions League. I think he'll go. Bettinelli, he might just re-sign to continue being the third choice goalkeeper, which essentially is just training and vibes. And really with Kepa could go as well. I know people aren't, you know, massively displeased with him. The Chelsea's failings at the moment aren't down to him. It's that we can't score goals. So he could stay. He is good with his feet, but he could go as well. So it's really, really interesting. Let me know what you think about the goalkeepers, because we have been linked with so many new goalkeepers. The centre-backs, I think, is actually pretty straightforward. So Benoit Badiashile has looked excellent in the Premier League of late. Well, he's not been used recently, which is a very strange one from Graham Potter. He's trying to use Koulibaly a bit more. I don't know if he feels obligated to do that, but Benoit Badiashile, certainly when he's next to Thiago Silva, he's looked very, very good, and I think probably you could say he's the future of our centre-back partnership with him and Wesley Fofana. So big thumbs up for Badiashile, possibly looking like the most cost-effective business that Chelsea have done in the last 2 transfer windows at like 30 million euros or something. Looks, you know, 21, built for the Prem, very tall. Very, very good in the ball, and loads of experience despite being so young. Over 150 games for Monaco, played a few caps for the France national team, first team, and yeah, great business. Be it for a long time. Thiago Silva, of course, he sustained that injury, but it's going to keep him out for about 6 weeks, which is a little bit worrying. But yeah, he's going to be here for 1 more season, isn't he? And I think maybe we'll start seeing him phased out a little bit and being just this sort of leader, role model figure around the dressing room. And that's totally fine. Absolutely need him. And I'd love for him to stay and like become a coach or something, Thiago Silva. Like, that would be great. Trevor Chalobah's a tricky one because we've seen him utilised a little bit at right back as a backup. Of course, Malo Gusto will come in and take up that role behind Reece James. He's had a bit of a rough ride, Trevor Chalobah, because he came in under Tuchel, was so good. He had that run in the team where he basically never lost. If you started a game, he didn't lose. But of course, that record seems a long time ago now. But a little bit versatile. Of course, he played in central defensive midfield in Ligue 1 when he was on loan out there. I think he'll probably stay, but I don't think he'll be utilised that much, although he's one of those players that I think when the team performs a little bit better, when we sort our stuff out, he will also perform better. Ben Chilwell, super easy for me. He's one of the best left backs, left wing backs in the game. Still sort of entering his prime. We're better with him. He makes those inverted striker runs. Bellissimo. Ben Chilwell. Chili B. Go nowhere, mate. Reece James speaks for himself. Chelsea apparently looking to try and make him a captain and start grooming him for the captaincy. Need I say more? Kalidou Koulibaly is a tough one. He hasn't been awful lately, but he's been disappointing since arriving at Chelsea after being recognised as maybe one of the top two centre-backs in the game a few years ago when Van Dijk was at his peak. People were saying, well, the best two centre-backs in Europe are Virgil van Dijk and Kalidou Koulibaly. Maybe like 2016 to 19, maybe 2020, but certainly not really now. He's only 31, which for a centre-back you can go on for quite a while, but I'm not suggesting he's going to do a Thiago Silva. I do worry for him though. He could be a casualty. We could end up seeing the left-sided centre-back options being Levi Colwill, Benoit Badiashile, and the right side being Trevor Chalobah, and of course Wesley Fofana. That's how I see it. Possibly, it looks like Chelsea are going to extend Levi Colwill. I think Koulibaly could go. And similarly, Chelsea's captain, Cesar Azpilicueta, I think also he could go. I think he wanted to go in the summer, but he extended because Chelsea were like, look, mate, we're in a massive transition here. We need your leadership. We need familiar faces. We'll give you good money. Hang around. He says, yes, I won't leave Chelsea in the lurch. But I think Chelsea might let him go in the summer. They might be like, okay, look, we're really trying to change things now. At the right back position, we've got Malo Gusto, we've got Reece James. We're hopefully going to... The reports today are suggesting they're trying to bring in more leaders into the squad. So should they successfully do that, then I do believe Cesar Azpilicueta will go. Right, Marc Cucurella, playing really, really badly lately. Defender, wing-back. Well, no, he's not a very good wing-back, is he? He's more defensive than Ben Chilwell, certainly. Of course, he had a really rough time. His house was burgled, was broken into, just as he'd moved to London or Cobham. Really, really tough for the guy. He's clearly a good player. He cost 60 million or whatever. Not that Man City were prepared to pay that, but Man City did want the player. And usually when they want the player, they're a good player. So he is good. He will stay. And I'm hoping he'll come good. Wesley Fofana, easy, of course. Cost a lot of money as well. Cost like £68 million, I believe. Something like that. Or a basic of 62 million. But for me, he's totally worth it. I think he was the best young centre-back in the Premier League a couple of seasons ago. He's super good. When he's confident on the ball, he looks absolutely mustard. If you watch the channel, you will know I absolutely love Wesley Fofana. And he should stay and will stay. Enzo Fernandez is staying in London, baby. Currently on WhoScored.com, our highest ranked or rated player is indeed the Argentine World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez, and our record signing, need I say more, staying at Chelsea. And from one World Cup winner that plays in midfield to another, N'Golo Kante, who Chelsea are seemingly nursing back to health really, really slowly. He also will stay. It looks like he's going to sign a pretty big deal, that will see him into 35 years old. Essentially what we gave to Koulibaly, which is pretty wild, really. But I'm here for it. If he's fit, if he plays next to Fernandez, it's all good. I'm here for it. Now, Mateo Kovacic is a tricky one. He's, of course, been linked to all kinds of clubs, and Chelsea are considering selling the 28-year-old, who has been Chelsea's best midfielder often in the last couple of years. Not always, but often. He's, of course, won our player of the season before Mason Mount won the 2 consecutive ones. Amazing player. Recognised in world football as an elite midfielder, of course plays in the Croatian midfield, and just generally is a baller. I think Chelsea might sell him, and I think this might be one of the tough ones to swallow. I think they're trying to rebuild the midfield in terms of profiles, and he's one of the best at what he does. He may stay, but I have a feeling they might flog him just to make some money back, because even with 12 months left on this deal, his profile is so high. I think Chelsea might make some peas former Kovacic, so maybe, yeah, I think he might go, sadly. Next up, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, this is a tough one. I think he too will be on 12 months left on his deal. He will bring some money, because he's about 25, 26. He's sort of entering his prime. I think maybe he's found his feet after his Achilles injury, finally, in terms of knowing where his body is. He's, of course, a massively versatile player. He can play at centre-back sweeper, he's played at right-back, right wing-back, everywhere in the midfield, and indeed in the front three at times, as well as at number 10. Very good on the ball, very good at carrying the ball. He's a very good squad player. You can drop him in a double pivot next to Enzo. We played him in basically he's played everywhere. I'm not going to go through all the roles, but he's played everywhere. He's a good guy, he trains well. I don't think he'll bring a lot of money, and a lot of people would like to see Ruben go, not because they dislike him or think he's terrible, but they just think he doesn't represent moving forwards with Chelsea. I think I disagree. I think if he is genuinely happy to play that sort of utility man role and that sort of just drop in it here and there every now and again, that's a really useful player to have in the squad, especially if they're happy to play that role and they've got quality. So I think he might stay. Now, Mason Mount, this is tough, bro, because Mount loves Chelsea, and he's always, given his heart for the badge, and he's played very well. And when Chelsea have played well these last couple of years, Mason Mount's been in, the headline act often in that. Will he stay? The issue is the contract negotiations. Is he happy to sign, these low-paid, long-term contracts when he feels probably his England teammates are all on like 300k a week, and he believes the way he trains and his output probably represents something similar, but Chelsea won't offer him that. Maybe it sounds like there's a very good chance he will go. Manchester City, Manchester United, and indeed Liverpool are all very interested in Mason Mount and probably will pay him his wage demands. He doesn't want to leave Chelsea by all accounts because he loves them, but he wants to do what's best for his career, and understandably he wants to be valued. Like, this is what you do, man. Remember, he's a Chelsea boy, but he's not a Chelsea fan. He's a Portsmouth fan. I'd love for him to stay, but even at 12 months left on this deal, Chelsea would make a lot of money for Mason Mount just because of his calibre and his experience at such a young age. So I think right now there's like a 57% chance he'll go. Next up, Dennis Zakaria. Good player, done well for us, took ages to get into the team, bless him, but when he got in, he did good work. So he deserves respect, Dennis Zakaria, and also he'd represent good value in terms of a buy option, I think less than £30 million. But despite that, I think he'll go. I think Chelsea will buy another midfielder, and of course they've got youngsters like Cassidy and Andre Santos to come in. So I don't think we'll exercise the option to buy Zakaria, and I think he might go. Conor Gallagher. A lot of people said to me early doors that Gallagher is a really special player when he's coming through Cobham in terms of his tenacity and ability in offensive play. He's done so many successful loans: Swansea, Charlton, West Brom, cats attacking the plant, West Brom, and of course Crystal Palace. So he's really done the rounds, and he's served his time on loans. And of course, Tuchel really liked Conor Gallagher. He tried to convince him to stay before going to Crystal Palace, but Tuchel was pleased he went to Crystal Palace in the end because he performed so well there. He would represent great value in a sale and a homegrown asset and free money for the financial fair play books. And because of that, I think Conor Gallagher will go. Right, next up, Carney Chukwuemeka. My cat's joined me here. I just don't want her to attack the new... Actually, no, you can't stay. Say hi to the gang. Right, go down. Carney Chukwuemeka, he'll stay. Highly rated. I don't think he'll go on loan. Although, Potter's actually not utilised him recently. He's a very good player. He's bulked up loads as well. He's probably got the guns now. And he's... I don't think we'll loan him. I think we'll stay in the squad, and he'll be utilised and rotated. He trains well, he's strong, and he plays forward, which is great. Next up, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Pretty simple. He'll go. He's not being utilised. He's mid-30s-ish and he wants to go and score goals somewhere else and play. I think he will go. It's pretty simple. Another attacker, Christian Pulisic. He's going to return from injury soon. We want to see him play, but I think also he will go. He'll have 1 year left on his deal. He wants to be the main man. He's wearing the number 10 currently, and he starts for the USA. Obviously, he was captaining the USA before at is it Tyler Adams got it? He will want to go and start somewhere essentially. And yeah, it's what could have been for Christian Pulisic at Chelsea. So thanks, man, and good luck. Right, next up, João Felix, the loanee from Atletico Madrid that looks like the only confident attacker at the moment, but he can't score the goals. He plays between the lines and is that sort of number 10. A lot of people I saw very excited when he came in. Very excited when he came in, but thinking maybe is relying on a mercurial number 10 in your formation, is that really the answer to your woes? Or do you, try and get a more system player and not pay like 70 or 80 million for Felix? It's tough. I think if we get better and we can utilise his quality, it'll be good. And if he says to Atletico Madrid, I want to go to Chelsea, they haven't got Champions League football, by the way, so don't charge them too much because they just don't have it. And he'll stink the place up if he goes back to Letty and, doesn't play. So I think we will sign João Felix, personally. Next up, Mykhailo Mudryk. Simple, we've just given him an 8.5-year deal or 7.5-year deal. Yes, he will stay. And hopefully settle into the team. Next up, Raheem Sterling. Now, this is real tricky, man, because he's our highest earner at Chelsea Football Club on 300k a week. So he's very comfortable. He likes living in London. Raheem Sterling likes living in London. I think he will stay, although if he goes, he might go to Arsenal. Remember Arsenal wanted to buy him as well? I know since they bought Leandro Trossard, who was quite cheap, but they missed out on Mudryk. If Arsenal win the league and they get a bit more money, there's a chance maybe they'll go in for Raheem Sterling for another wide attacker. Sterling's a great player. He'll get to stay in London, and Arsenal will probably pay him the same high wages. Armando Broja, yes, he will stay. Chelsea value him very highly. There was articles suggesting that Chelsea think he's one of the best young strikers in world football at the moment. Obviously, he's out with an ACL. He'll come back. He will, of course, stay, and I believe stay in the squad. Hakim Ziyech. Why are we playing him at the moment when he was nearly a PSG player? I don't know. He will definitely leave Chelsea in the summer, 12 months left on this deal, probably to Paris Saint-Germain. David Datro Fofana, of course we're going to keep him, we've just signed him, but the interesting thing with him is, are we going to loan him? If we buy a conventional striker, we'll keep Broja in the squad, Aubameyang will go. I think David Datro Fofana will go on loan, maybe even to like a championship club, because that is a higher level than the Norwegian league. Maybe a lower level Premier League club, or I suppose a European league, we'll have to see. Noni Madueke, yes, we will keep. We don't have many right-wing options, especially if Ziyech goes. He's a proper right-winger. He can, it looks like he can really cook in the Premier League once he settles in terms of his strength, speed, and technical ability on the ball. He can dribble, cut in, and you really need that option on the right, so yes, he's going absolutely nowhere and staying in the squad. And finally, Kai Havertz. Now, a real tricky one. If you know me, I will die on this hill of Kai Havertz being this unique, silky, and talented player. Yes, he can win headers. Yes, he gets stuck in, and he does have the ability to play really well, but he's deteriorated at Chelsea. And ultimately, he's played out of position. He's not a striker. He can play that role, but not very well. And when the rest of the team around him is not playing well, he kind of gets worse with that. I think there's a chance he'll go. I don't think he wants to go. Obviously, Timo Werner tapped out. I think he wanted to. I don't think Kai Havertz wanted to. Of course, he scored the iconic goal for Chelsea. And if he finds a bit of form, I think he will enjoy himself and the fans will love him again. And it's hit or miss. I really can't call it with Kai Havertz. So I'll be interested in seeing what you guys think. And to be honest, I'll be really interested in what you guys think for every single player in the squad that I've listed off here. And this, of course, isn't including youth players like Amari Hutchison and Lewis Hall, who I think will probably stay. Certainly Hall, we'll have to see. Comment down below and let me know how you feel on all the players, or if you agree with me or disagree with me on what I said. And yeah, please do. I'll be really interested in reading your comments. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you like this kind of more chilled out video. Like and subscribe. Cheers, guys. See you very soon.